I'm gonna get hurt. The other day, if you remember, we were at the store and the salvage store, and I picked up this cat's paw. A little bit of rust on it, but she's straight and she's solid. I have. Don't go anywhere. I have this one given to me by a neighbor when I helped her repair her siding many years ago. The Exhumer. I love this thing. But I don't need two. So as I said, we're going to get this one cleaned up and find a worthy neighbor that could use it. And who wouldn't appreciate a free tool, right? So let's see what we can do with it. We'll go from there. I'm going to start by just knocking off some of the big rust, see if we can see any maker's mark. I highly doubt it. And see what's underneath a little bit of the rust. Okay, I took off some of the main rust, and we did find a little bit of information. The person who used to own it, his name was Vaughn, and the manufacturer is Wear Safety Goggles. Hopefully you can see that, I don't know. But yeah, so it's made by Wear Safety Goggles, and some guy named Vaughn owned it. Now, this is really mushroomed quite a bit, which means it got a lot of use. So I am going to probably grind some of that off and try and bring it back to its original form, but I still think it's got a lot more slugging left in it afterwards. So let's try and get a flat disc on it and at least get it back to looking somewhat normal. It's got quite a bit of casting marks down the side here and on the other side. So I'm going to go a little aggressive to start, and then we'll lighten up with one of my used discs once we get her, kind of where I want it. So follow along. Woohoo! Okay. To be transparent, I forgot to show you, but I used the cutoff wheel and took off those where it was mushroomed over, just to get them down a little closer before I started doing the flapper. But I didn't record that. So that took me a minute, and then this is 10 minutes on the flap disc, and I got to all the areas I could with the first grit. And then, there's some areas that are going to need a Dremel or something to get in there. There's a couple of other blemishes. One thing I wanted to share real quick before I keep going is if you're at this point, well, for one, you can use it like this. If you want to go down further, I, for one, don't care about the names because it's going to be a working tool. It's not going to be a display tool. But if you still have pits, you need to get rid of them on the first grit, and that way you're polishing finer and finer whatever you do after that. But if you skip by them now, you're going to get down to where you're at a fine grit and you're still going to have pits. So now's the time to inspect it, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little black Sharpie mark anywhere I want to hit it real quick once more, and I'm going to give it another minute or two, and then we'll go finer. So that was just a quick tip. So I took it down to a used 80 grit, which was more like 120. I should say when I talked about getting the pitting out, after that, anything you do as far as finer grits is just improving to the point where you're happy with it. But that first grit is what's getting rid of the cancer, so to speak. The rest is, this should strictly be this should just be taking out the marks that the 40 or 80 grit left behind. And so that's what I'm doing. And if you are someone who wants to keep some of the guy's name, Vaughn, if you're somebody that wants to keep those and just display your tools, that's great. I love that. It's just not me, So as I look at my tools that are kind of on display, okay, I'm gonna hit that a little bit more. I see a couple of spots that still have the rougher grind on them. And then I'm gonna move over to the strip sander and see if we can make some damage there. All right. If it were going back in my box, it'd be almost there. I might just lube it up a little bit, but it's not. So we got to do a little bit more. Shop tips with Tom. This is a lifesaver. No matter what time of year, I will get shocked on this thing. And it's just static, but this, from my old electronics days, I ground myself out, not an issue. Some people I know it happens to them seasonally. You didn't see that. With the weather, but with me it's all the time. I used to work in a hospital. I'd have to carry my keys and discharge the knobs before I touch them. I'd get the piss knocked out of me. So anyway, we're gonna go over this with a little bit of that. And I still have not dove into the pits, the hard to reach. I'm gonna bring this one more level down and then we'll double back and work on that. Okay, here we go. All right. I had to change the belt out because I had one that was too fine for what I was trying to do to get rid of these scratches from the 4.5 inch grinder. So I got it taken down to a point where I'm happy with it. I am now going to hit it on the fiber wheel for a little bit, and then we'll inspect it and see where we go. I didn't still do the insides because I don't want to. I will though, I promise. So let's just do this for a minute and we'll see where it goes. Now, I'm going to try and get in there a little better with this. Is it going to work? I've had mixed results. We'll try that a little bit, and then I also have the what do you call them? Little feather wheels, abrasive wheels. We'll try those too. I also have all of these, but they won't even fit down in there. Have you ever noticed when somebody says, I'm not going to lie to you, they're probably lying. Well, I'm not going to lie to you, I got to have to hit the fiber wheel again. I flopping around with this, I hit a couple of spots on the outside and scraped it up to where I'm not as happy with it. But it did do a good job about getting the orange death out of there. So a little bit of that and I think we'll be good. And I'll bring you along there too, because I like spending time with you. You're special. I mean it. You really are. Each and every one of you. So we're at the point, again, it's a user tool. It's much better than when we started. I should have, I didn't do any of them. Take a picture of it before, zoom the camera, take a picture after, look how much it's, I didn't do that. You got the video from when I bought the thing and the video, I'm done. Now, I could go downstairs and get my flits because that's where I left it. I don't even know why I brought it down there, but I'm not. So I'm going to sit here for a good, I probably have less than an hour into tool time, more fumbling around with, where am I going to put the camera for this? So maybe an hour and a half I've been in the garage, and I like being in the garage, so that is not a complaint. But I'm using old school. If you were in the Navy, well, a long time ago, or the Marines, I believe, you've used Neverdol. Brasso, this newfangled flip stuff is great, but there's something about that smell, the cotton. I don't know. It is cotton, right? Maybe it's asbestos. Who knows? It just does a body good. And when I get it done, I'll put a coating on it. I think I'll use the... I have some paste wax. Maybe I'll paste wax it. And then it'll be off to a new home. And hopefully it'll get used for many, many, many years. I have another neighbor. He's pretty young. And him and his father have a company. They are a roofing contractor. Now, I don't think roofers use these, at least not now. But that's the kind of guy and the kind of trade for somebody who would sure appreciate a cat's paw. If you've never used one of these, go buy a house and tear it down with one of these. They're amazing. Now, like I said, I'm going to sit here for a little bit, and I don't think that's something I should subject anybody who's come this far along to doing. So I will leave you here, and I'll take a nice, cool video of it all done, and I'll have nothing to show you before I started. Again, like I said, this is not my forte. I'm not really that good at, I can clean up a tool, but there's so many better content creators that do these, and that's why I'm not usually. But again, things got to get done. So next week it'll probably be a couple of shovels, and I don't know if that'll be part of YouTube or not, because that sounds really boring. All right, y'all. I went ahead and did a quick search for this tool made by Wear Safety Goggles. I think the guy who owned it, his name was John Vaughn. That's my guess. Now his name is Ughan. But it was John Vaughn, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be a good tool. It's going to be a nice bar to hang off of somebody's belt. On eBay, I think I saw them for under $20. So I got this one for $5 and put a couple hours of fun into it. I won't say work. I went ahead and used Mineral Spirit Vaseline to coat it, mostly because my hands are so dry. So they appreciate it. So anyway, that may be the only, I don't know, one of the only tools I do here. I don't know. But let me know what you think. I had a lot of fun just because y'all were here with me. Thanks. Bye.